What's up, boys? It's currently 7:33 a.m. Woke up at 5 a.m. today, did my morning routine, went to the gym, hit back and abs, did some cardio, 20 minutes. I did the 7 on the incline today. That was nice. It got me a lot more sweaty than usual, so I think we're gonna go 7 incline from now on. I think it's a nice, the Stairmaster is pretty intense. And it's good for like certain days, but I think on the days where I don't do the Stairmaster, the 7 incline's nice. Because the normal walk with like 2 incline feels okay, but I think with the higher incline, it's a little more intense, and I like it more like that. So I think we're gonna switch to that. But anyways, something that's been on my mind nonstop recently is this idea of choosing your struggle. Because on Instagram, you see, like, if you have stuff like this on your Instagram, then you'll see that video. It's like, choose your suffering. And it's like the suffering of eating McDonald's and being fat, or the suffering of discipline, right? And so you can either suffer by being lazy, and the suffering that comes with that is not accomplishing anything, not feeling fulfilled, not having a purpose, not being respected by other people, all these things, right? Or you can choose the pain of discipline, and the pain of discipline is it's hard to get up early. It's hard to work when you don't want to, when you don't feel like it. It's hard to eat clean food. It's hard to ignore going out to parties. And so the idea is that suffering is something that's inherent to life no matter what, right? The sun is fucking me up. I'm sorry. Suffering is something that's inherent to life. A lot of religions talk about this. I know Buddhism talks about this. I'm a Christian, obviously. Christianity, that's like the main philosophy of Christianity, is like Jesus dying on the cross, right? But every religion and most people in general can identify that suffering is like one of the most fundamental parts of reality, because everybody suffers, right? Not everybody gets to experience many like other specific things. Like, everyone experiences joy and everyone like experiences this and that, but suffering is something that every human can just relate to. We can all go up to someone and they can tell us a story of suffering, and even if we haven't been in that situation, we can understand where they're coming from and why something would be hard, right? And so I say all this to say that life is going to be suffering no matter what. And if you're like me, that's kind of hard to hear. Like, it's not, when I kind of think about that, it doesn't really make me feel like good, right? I'm not like, oh fuck yeah, like suffering. But if there's something we can't change, then we have to learn to work with it, right? And so if you know you're going to be suffering no matter what, then you want to choose a suffering that is going to be fulfilling and is going to be beneficial to your life. And it's hard because doing things that make you suffer from like being lazy or like scrolling on your phone and shit, those things are easy in the moment. So it makes you feel like you're living your life without suffering, right? And I think that's why a lot of people do it, because if you go to the gym, it is hard right away. Like, it's hard to wake up in that moment. Whereas when you scroll on your phone, sometimes you kind of feel like a dumbass, but for the most part, like, you kind of, you kind of feel like you're, sorry, I lost my train of thought. When you go to the gym, you feel like it's hard in the moment, but then it makes your day better long term, right? Whereas when you scroll on your phone, you might feel like a dumbass at first. Like, you're like, oh, why am I doing this? But like, you just get lost scrolling and you just feel good, right? And so it's hard to make the decision to do things that are hard in the short term and good in the long term. But that's the decision we must make. And it's so interesting when you think about it like that. I remember when I first heard like that idea of life being suffering and that we must choose our suffering. I might get that tattooed, choose your suffering. But I remember hearing that idea for the first time, and it's so interesting to me because it makes the idea of discipline and hard work irrefutable. Because no matter what we suffer, we already went over that. So you can either choose suffering that is good for you or suffering that is bad for you long term, right? And we want to optimize our life for the long term, not the short term, obviously, mostly. And so if that is true, then we must be disciplined. Like, there's no real argument. Now this shit's on my lips, bro. What is going on? There is no argument for cheap dopamine. And I'm not the kind of guy who's going to say that like cheap dopamine is always bad and you should never have junk food and you should never watch Netflix and never scroll on your phone. I don't personally abide by that. I know a lot of people do, right? David Goggins, even Jocko Willink, I was reading his book actually, and he's not as like hardcore as I thought. Like, I mean, obviously he's a fucking crazy dude. Like, he's insane. He's fucking sick. But he's not like, dude, even if you're dying, you need to work out. Like, some guys are like that. But he's like, no, like, if you really can't work out, like, figure out something else to do. Read a book. Or if you know, he talks about how, like, or something about how you can eat junk food every, like, once in a while, but as long as you don't make it where you're doing it too much, like, I don't know. And I don't think that we should be balanced in the sense of, like eating junk food, like, every day or something. But I do think that balance in life is somewhat important. But anyways, I'm getting off track. Discipline is something that is going to make your life better in the long term. And the thing with choosing these activities, like scrolling on your phone, like, okay, these are like the main ones that I know that everyone struggles with. Scrolling on your phone, porn, junk food, fucking too many girls. And I think I'm trying to think of the main one. I think I'm forgetting a big one. But it's like these main activities, right? And these are the ones that most people struggle with. For me, it's scrolling on my phone. That's my issue. I don't have a problem with any of the other ones. But for me, scrolling on my phone is my issue. So in my life, I want to give you guys an example of how you can actually apply this philosophy to your life, right? So in my life, my issue is that I scroll on my phone too much, and that like leads to a bunch of things, but that's the issue, like, because it makes me tired and it wastes time and all these things, right? And so I need to understand that there will be pain whether I scroll on my phone or whether I do something hard instead of scrolling on my phone. So I need to understand, if I scroll on my phone, it's going to feel good, but then I'm going to feel like a loser. I'm going to feel like I'm wasting time. I'm going to feel like I could have been more productive. I'm going to feel unfulfilled. I'm going to feel lazy. I'm going to feel tired. I don't know if I already said that. And that's the pain of scrolling on my phone. Whereas if I put down my phone and just read a book, something that's not super like high, like it's not like working on a business or going to the gym, but just read a book, I will feel at least like I'm doing something that is beneficial to me. I will learn more things. I will not become super dopaminergic where I need that hit from scrolling on my phone because I'm reading a book that's a low dopamine activity. And even though I might feel kind of unfocused in the moment or like I don't really enjoy it, right after I'll be like, wow, like I could have just scrolled on my phone right now, but instead I read a book. Like, I feel good about myself. And it'll be hard, but eventually I will make it a habit, right? And so I think this is going to be a shorter video today, but I just want you guys to understand your life is going to be fucking hard. It's not the most beautiful thing for me to say. It's not the most poetic way for me to say things, but your life will be hard. You will have times in your life where everything is going to shit, but you must have a foundation in your discipline and in your habits. You must understand that doing hard things will lead you to a better life in the long term. You are not escaping a hard life by scrolling on your phone and doing all these bad things like eating junk food and going out on Friday night. These things are momentary pleasure. But guess what? In 5 years, the person who is disciplined, their life will be so much better. And the even crazier thing is that they will find fulfillment in their discipline, and eventually it will become, I don't want to say easier, but it will become more fulfilling than scrolling on your phone. So keep that in mind next time you want to do something that is easy to do rather than doing something that is hard to do. Think about it in the long term. Sacrifice yourself in the moment for yourself in the future, to an extent. Because if you perpetually sacrifice for the future, then you will never enjoy the moment. If you're always sacrificing, you will never enjoy the moment. I completely agree with the philosophy of sacrificing yourself in the moment for yourself in the future, but you need to have times where you can enjoy the moment. You need to have times where you go out with your boys. You need to have times where you go hang out at the pool. You need to have times where you go to the beach, or I don't know, whatever, right? You need to enjoy your life as well. I don't give a fuck what any of these guys say. I don't give a fuck. You need to be able to enjoy life. And most of that comes from hard work. I completely agree. Most of the enjoyment of life will come from hard work, but I believe that you need to implement